Happy New Year! Here's to a better 2021 than we had in 2020. Although I have to say, family-wise, we had a pretty good 2020. We had a number of little family trips that we took that were either in the mountains or just our little family bunch. So it was nice. So we had overall a good 2020 and we stayed healthy, so that was good. But in terms of the pandemic, it would be nice for that to be over and for the world to just settle down a little bit. I hope you guys had a wonderful Christmas. We did. My husband got me an espresso maker for Christmas, so I am enjoying some fancy coffees this new year, which goes perfectly with knitting. I did a lot more Christmas knitting than I typically do. I showed some of that in the last episode, and I think I have knit a few things even since then. And I only have one of those items here. I will have to put some pictures up of the other things I did. I finished my husband's hat, the February hat, and I went to look for it for this podcast because he's been wearing it when we take the dogs out for a walk in the morning. But I can't find it, so I think he must have taken it with him. His puppy, which I'll put a photo up, I don't know if I mentioned it on the last podcast, but we got a second dog, and it's more his puppy than mine. He's a cute little Cavalier King Charles Spaniel, and he's all the ruby color, the brownish color, and puppies are definitely work. But he's taking him for his last round of puppy shots this morning. And I think he took his hat with him. But the one thing I do have to show is the hat I made for my son. This is my own pattern, and on my last podcast, I have the pattern for this hat in the description box. And I'm putting it also up on Ravelry sometime soon. I've asked for some test knitters. If you guys would like to test knit it, please let me know. I can send you the PDF pattern so you don't have to look at the description box. But you can get the pattern for free there as well. So this is the second one I've knit out of that pattern that I made. And my lighting is a little odd. It's coming straight, like sideways in, even though it's 10:40 in the morning. So I've closed these blinds, but it's giving me like shafts of light. Anyways, it's a knit and purl pattern made out of bulky yarn, and it is just texture. So my son really likes it. He loves it when I make stuff for him, and I don't do that very often. So he's very happy with it. And this is a craft store yarn. I am not sure exactly what kind of yarn I used for this particular hat. For the one I made for my dad, in the last video, I have all of the info for that yarn. It was a wool roving, Butterlux or something. I also bought that from the craft store, and it's a bulky weight. This one's a little bit a lighter weight yarn, just a little bit. It's still probably considered a bulky, so it's not quite as thick as that the bulky roving wool yarn that I use for my dad's. My son really likes it, and it fits him well. So that's my first finished object I'll show you. And I always start with what I'm wearing. So maybe I should do that. Not start with it, just do that second. Also, my name's Gabie. I am Gabie's Goodies on Instagram and Ravelry, and Gabie's Knit Goodies here, and also on loveknitting.com. And you can't see it, but I have my puppy dog sleeping here next to me. And if you hear snoring, that would be him. He's a fairly small dog, only about 15 pounds, but he has a decent sized snore. His name is Wookie. Yeah. Oh, and my email and information is below in case you want to contact me. Or if you want to be featured on my video podcast here, you can email me pictures of your projects and I'll tag you and show you on here. I haven't had anyone take me up on that yet, but I think I only mentioned it once before. So if you would like to be featured and you want to send me a project that you've done and that you're proud of, or if you're a new designer or an old designer and want to send me stuff for me to show, I will be happy to. I think that the more knitting shown on a knitting podcast, the better. Okay, so I am wearing the Ondawa sweater, don't know if that's how you pronounce it, by Brooklyn Tweed. I knit this at least 2 years ago, and I don't know if I've shown it on my channel and described it or not. If I did, it was a while ago. It is an all-over cable pattern, knit front and back, and then you seam it, pick up stitches, and knit the sleeves in the round. It is a boat neck sweater, and yeah, I really like it. The yarn I used was actually upcycled from a Goodwill sweater, and it is 50% cotton and 50% wool, which I really like that combo in terms of the texture and the weight of it. It's a very nice, like, 3-season sweater. Like spring and fall, I can wear it, and it's not too warm by any means because it's got that 50% cotton, I think, so it's just a little less heavy. And also it is a cropped sweater, and the sleeves are supposed to be 3/4 length. Let me hold out this one, but they grew. So now they are slightly awkward length sleeve, and it did stretch out a bit. That's probably one negative to this yarn, is it doesn't have as much elastic memory, I guess you could say, as like a regular wool yarn. So I fold it up most of the time, and then that gives it the right 3/4 length sleeve that it's supposed to have. You do lose a little of the pattern that way, but that's okay. And I will try to stand up and show you the length of this. So it hits, this is like my hip bone right here. So it's just past my belly button. My belly button's here. One thing I really liked about this sweater is on the ribbing at the bottom, it has this little feature where the ribbing starts to come in to a point, and then right where that point meets is when the body of the sweater starts and the cable starts. I thought that was a really fun, kind of interesting way to bring the hem kind of into the rest of the garment and not have it just be a plain ribbing hem. It kind of like flows into the rest of the garment, which I think is cool. And that is actually, I think, repeated, here on the sleeve. That's one negative to folding the sleeve up, because you lose a little bit of that design feature. So again, the Ondawa sweater by Brooklyn Tweed. I knit it years ago, but I do wear it a good amount. The one, I guess, complaint, or I guess two sort of complaints about the sweater that aren't my favorite, is that in the back, because the front and the back is knit the same, just two rectangles, there's no shaping involved. I'm fine with that part of it, and no shaping. I like the wide sweater, but I wish the back came down more, because for me, when you knit the front and the back the same length, I feel like the back rides up a bit, whereas if the front rides up a little bit in the middle, it doesn't matter. but if the back rides up a little bit, it just looks a little funny to me. So the one thing I would change if I knit it again would definitely be the back longer. I might do a split hem on the side and do the back longer than the front. The other option would be to somehow add some short rows, but I think that would be difficult with the cable pattern. So I think just a longer back, like make the ribbing section on the bottom longer and do that split hem. I would do that. The other thing I don't love is the neckline. It's a boat neck, and so it kind of, I don't know, pushes on my neck a bit. I have found that I prefer to not have a boat neck. My battery is running low, so I'll be right back. Okay, then my husband just called. This podcast is struggling a bit here. Let's see if I can get out of these bright shafts of light. No, I really can't. Oh well. Anyways, y'all will bear with me, I guess. Or you won't. It's up to you. So, next thing. I will show you a gift I received from my daughter who was 9. And she has really gotten into loom knitting. And she made me this lovely cowl. It is very warm. It's made with extremely bulky yarn. And she did it on her loom knitting device, loom, whatever you call it. So she loom knit it as a rectangle, and I helped her seam it together. But I was super impressed. It's warm and soft, and it fits just over my head. So she's really sweet. She ended up making like everyone gifts this year. I don't know where she gets that from. She made my son a hat, which is here. And this yarn, she actually used 2 different yarns and intentionally did this design on it. So she's really gotten the maker's bug for sure. And then she did finger knitting and then like seamed together her finger knit sections for my other daughter, for her sister, and made her slippers. And she used my pom-pom little tool to make pom-poms on the slippers. I will definitely put a picture of those in here too. But she's gotten really crafty. It's so cute. And now my works in progress. I don't believe I've shown this on the podcast, but I am making some fingerless mittens for myself. I got some really cute yarn. Again, this is from Joann Fabrics. It is a Lion brand yarn. Called Mani-Pedi. It is 75% wool and 25% nylon. 50 grams, 219 yards. Again, Mani-Pedi by Lion brand. And the color, let's see, the color that I got is color number 605, Manoplas, Manoplas. So it is like a soft weight yarn, finger weight yarn. And I've already made one mitten. So my goal for this, well, the yarn I just couldn't resist. I picked up 2 balls of it. I'm on my second one right now. You see the blue tucked in there? This is the end of the last one. It's so fun. It's very reminiscent of a hand-dyed yarn to me. But I just happened to be enjoying fabrics and saw it and I couldn't resist. As knitters do. You see good yarn. So my goal for this is to prevent the cold gap right at my wrist that I get a lot of times when I wear gloves or mittens and then I have my coat on and then I get like this little air gap that comes in and makes my wrist cold. And so I wanted something long. And originally I was going to do like super long ones, but I decided to just do them semi-long. So I have it going all the way down to here. And if I want, I could fold it and have it be kind of a more normal length mitten. So these are kind of modular. Because I also, so I have it actually folded here on my hand. And if I want to, I can unfold the cuff here where my fingers are and cover up my fingers to keep them warm when I'm outside. I mean, I guess it looks a little funny, but it will enable me to have my fingers free whenever I need them free. But I can also make them extra warm like that. Bring this down, be nice and warm and cozy. So I am very pleased with them. They're very fun. And of course now my girls want them too. So we'll see about that. So I actually knit them from the fingers down because I wasn't sure how much yarn I would need. And I wasn't sure how long I wanted to bring this. And I wanted to make sure I had as much yarn as possible for each mitten. So I started from the fingers and worked down. And then I cast off at the thumb here and then cast on in the next round to give that room in the thumb. And then I just knit down to the end and then I picked up stitches all around the thumb and knit the little thumb turtleneck thing. I did decreases here at the thumb on either side of my stitch markers that I placed right here when I cast those on. So you can kind of see the little gusset, I guess it's called. I am super pleased with these and they're really fun and cozy and I'm just so excited. So when I went to start the second one, I wanted it to, originally I didn't think I cared if they matched, but I decided I kind of wanted them to match because it would look way off if I started the ribbing up here with this, bright orange color. So I was almost out this dark blue section in the first skein. So I started using that here. And then I actually switched to the new skein that started in this blue section so that my mittens could be very similar. So I think that turned out pretty similar. I mean, it's a little more blue, dark blue here than the aqua, but it's pretty close, I think. I'm happy with it. And I guess this is a little deeper, the blue section there, maybe not. So I am at, right here at the thumb. I've done the little thumb hole right there. And so I just have the knitting in that thumb gusset to reduce. You can see my 2 little stitch markers on either side of the thumb cast on stitches. So I'll decrease till that's a little point there and just knit. I'm so excited about these. They're super fun. They're so cute. It's something about color. I typically like neutrals, like this gray that I'm wearing. But the color really does make me smile. So excited about these. I think that I will try to write out the pattern and at least put kind of a recipe down below for you guys if you want it, and maybe a more thorough pattern up on Ravelry, just like I'm doing with the hat. I'm gonna put a full pattern for my son's hat, or my dad's hat. It's called Pop's Winter Toboggan. I don't know what these are gonna be called. If you have suggestions, please comment down below. So, next thing, take off my cute, it's so fun. So fun, cute knitting. I am really working. Okay, so I did all the Christmas knitting, and so I couldn't do my own knitting, which made me sad. But I was happy to do all my Christmas knitting. And one of the things I knit, and maybe I'll show it here or earlier, was for my stepmom. I was knitting my dad hats, and then I got them a picture framed from Yellowstone of some bison and mountains. But anyways, I felt bad that she had just the joint gift and didn't have an individual gift. So in like 2 days, I knit her a hat. I think it's like the May hat baby or something like that from that Kelborn year of hats. And I used whatever yarn I had at the house, and then I ran out of yarn, and then, so it ended up being like color blocked. It turned out cute, and I added a pom-pom on it. So I'll definitely show a picture of it. But it ended up being way more intricate than I expected because it was a cabled hat, but it didn't look, I don't know, it didn't look super complicated with the picture. But then after I started knitting it, I realized that the cables were, there was a lot going on in the hat, and it was more tedious than expected. But she loved it, and it turned out really cute, so I'm glad I did it. So anyways, I was very rushed with some of my Christmas knitting. We met them in a parking lot outside so that we couldn't, kind of halfway between our two houses, because they're about 2 hours away, so we each drove an hour and met up and exchanged gifts. So that was nice. They got to see my kids open presents. Anyways, all that to say, I finally finished the Christmas knitting and got to knit on my own stuff again. So I finished my sleeve. I think last time I don't even think I finished the body. It was a couple of podcasts ago that I showed this. This is my sweater that I am designing and knitting. It is going to be called, I think, Snow is Coming, or Dreaming of Snow, or Wishing for Snow, something along those lines. It is 100% wool, non-superwash, fisherman's, where is it? The fisherman's wool from Joann Fabrics. Lion Brain yarn. Inexpensive wool in the natural color. And then the black is Patton's 100% wool worsted weight yarn. So I originally knit all of this, and then I split for my seams because it's knit in the round up to the top of this color work. And then I split for my seams, or split for the armholes, and knit the front and the back. And I did it in this waffle stitch pattern, which I thought was cool. But then after I did it, I realized it was too, it took a lot of attention, that texture pattern that I put on here, and it kind of took away from the body of the sweater. It was just too much. So I ripped that out and just knit it in stockinette stitch, and it's simpler, and it definitely works better. So I then seamed my shoulders, and my dog is in my lap now. Say hi, Wookie. And I picked up here, and I'm knitting the sleeves in the round, and I added a little bit of color work here at the end of the sleeve because I didn't want to do all over color work sleeve, because that's just I feel like it makes it tight, sometimes a little less flexible, and it also is just tedious. And I tend to do magic loop on my sleeves, and that can get, for me, that can make color work difficult at that transition point. So anyways, I really liked that simple one section of color work on the sleeve. I think it added a lot. Super excited about this sweater. I am on the second sleeve, and so all I have to do after that second sleeve is to pick up stitches and do the collar, the neckline, and I might add pockets. I have already, since this week I am taking off of teaching the kids. We are still on break, holiday break. So I've had a little time to spend with my knitting, and I have already written the pattern up for this. For one size, for the size that it is. I am definitely going to do a second size. I'd like to offer it in at least 3 sizes, but for now my goal is 2. It's this size and then a larger size. So it's not supposed to be a fitted sweater. It's supposed to be a little bit wide, have positive ease in it. So I think it would be kind of a flexible in terms of sizing. It could be fairly flexible. Anyways, I love it and I'm super excited about it. And it's going to be really warm. Every time I lay it on my lap to work on it, it just like is immediate warmth because of that beautiful wool that it has in there. Super excited. And the last thing I will talk about is another plan for me that I've been wanting to get around to. I don't know if you remember, I don't remember, I think it was the March hat from the Kelborn's Year of Hats. It was like a kind of a waffle cone texture, and I sent it to my sister out in Alaska, and I really liked that hat, and so I decided I wanted to make a hat for myself. So I bought myself some Malabrigo Rios in Cirrus Gray. Malabrigo. I bought it off of yarn.com. It is worsted weight, 210 yards, 192 meters, 100 grams. And it is 100% superwash merino. It is so plump and squishy, and I just love it. I made my husband's hat out of the same type of yarn in Sandstorm colorway. So this one is a gray, but it has blue undertones. Because I don't know if you can tell, it's definitely bluer than like my sweater that I'm wearing. I really like it, and I think it will be beautiful in that hat. So I'm excited about it. I think that is all I have today. Like I said, I will put some pictures of my gift knits up if I have them, and I will see you guys later on in 2021. Yay for a new year. This is my knitting buddy. He's the perfect knitting buddy. He just snuggles and keeps me warm and keeps me company. And you can see he loves the knitting.